It's so funny, man. We live in this world where we're all looking for the answers. And it's interesting. I found a lot of the answers. And they're never what you think they're going to be. And that's why... Sorry, my unicorn's tripping. That's why my greatest observation and realization is just the paradoxical nature of reality. It's not what you think it is. This whole game it's completely different than what you think it is. The laws that govern reality, energetics, consciousness are completely different from the laws that govern the world that we live in. Damn, this unicorn is just fucking on one, dude. So what I mean by that is we tend to look at things through this lens of morality, right? A great example of this is like we think this is a meritocracy. You work really hard and you get good things. And it's not that that's not true. It's just there's some mechanics that are involved that are not that rudimentary or really just that silly, right? This idea that, there's that famous line from that Biggie Smalls movie, which I don't know why, dude. I think I've seen it one time, but I've been quoting it so much lately. There's this line where he says, actually maybe it's not. Oh, he's talking to his teacher about garbage men and how much money they make. And how, the garbage man makes more money than the teacher, whatever. But this quote, I don't think is from the Biggie Smalls movie. It's, if hard work alone would make you rich and successful, then garbage men would be driving Lamborghinis. And it's so true. It's so true, dude. This isn't a meritocracy. There are people who work 100 hours a week and they bring home significantly less than the people who work 4 hours a week. And so that doesn't make sense, right? But I want to explain it to you in a way that maybe will help you understand. It certainly has helped me understand more. And that's using two metaphors, a garden metaphor and a water metaphor. So first and foremost, we have the garden metaphor. The universe is a medium for growing. It's soil. And man, it's like, dude, it's that good living soil. And whatever you plant in it, whatever seeds you put in this soil, they're going to grow and they're going to produce fruit. Now here's the thing, this is where we apply a lens of morals. We go, oh, there's good and there's bad, and I have to plant good seeds in order to receive like the things that I want in life, in order to be successful, in order to be happy, and all of that stuff. But the truth is it's neutral. The garden doesn't care what seeds are planted in it. The garden can't tell the difference between pot plants and tomatoes, right? And so the truth is, whatever seeds you plant, they're gonna grow, dude. Whatever seeds. It doesn't matter if it's good. It doesn't matter if it's bad. It doesn't matter if it's fucking mundane or lukewarm. It's just a medium for growing. And so many people apply, it's kind of like with animals, right? We project our own consciousness onto animals. And the same is true of the universe. We project our own consciousness with our morals, our dogmas, and our beliefs onto the universe. And the truth is, the universe is just neutral. So that's first and foremost. That's kind of like, if you could understand anything, it's that what you do matters, right? But don't attach it to an outcome, because you can arrive at that outcome regardless of the moral story that you tell yourself. Whether or not you plant seeds of goodness, righteousness, evil, wickedness, the real thing that the universe cares about is consistency, right? So another thing that we see in the day and age of social media, and a lot of us are guilty of this, is people will plant seeds and then 10 minutes later they dig it up and they're like, is it growing? That's not how you plant seeds. The way to plant seeds is just bury them, plant them, be a good gardener. In this metaphor also, a lot of people have a hard time reconciling the universe and God. Like, what are these two things? Are they one and the same? Are they different? And it's my understanding, my belief that there is the universe, and this is the garden in which all of life is created, and then there's the gardener. There is God consciousness, which has intentionally placed in this garden the seeds that grow into the reality and life that we live in. Now, the whole point of this is it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you're consistent in doing it. If you're evil and dark, that's going to be rewarded with the fruit of whatever that is, right? And so what I mean is, if you plant seeds of like of greed, and like you're comfortable and confident with those seeds of greed, it'll grow. Like there's plenty of assholes with a lot of money and a lot of success and status and all of these things, right? So you have to decide for yourself, what is it that you want to plant and what is it that you want to grow in this reality? Because this whole thing, it's a garden, dude, and you can grow whatever you want. Secondly is a water metaphor. And I love using this metaphor because it helps people understand money in ways that maybe before they weren't able to understand. So if you look at banking, one of the things we see a lot of is water metaphors. So things like liquid assets, currency, banks, right? These are all water terms, and I think it alludes to the fact that what we're actually experiencing here is an access to energetic, like the manifestation of energetics in literal form. So most people's lives consist of going to a job, and at the end of every pay period, they're given a bucket of water. Every hour equates to a certain number of glasses of water for their hard work. And what is it that we need to sustain life here on planet Earth? We need water, right? And so they go and they work really hard and they get their bucket of water. And what do when they get their bucket of water? They go to the banks of the river and they dump it in. And they are allowed access to that which they have deposited into the banks of the river. And they work really hard, man. They slave in, they slave out. They do so much to have access to the stuff that they've put into this river. But what does the river do? It supplies everything. And so this bank of water, or this bank in this metaphor, this river that they're dumping all their stuff into, it's being allocated for the purpose of helping the river ecologically grow and survive, meaning there are tributaries and there are streams and ponds, and it feeds all of this stuff. And so you put your money in the bank, and then the bank uses your money to create more and to sustain itself. But through poor ecological practices, we can destroy a fucking river system, we can dam it up, we can cause problems, and all of a sudden the money that you put into that bank is gone. It vanishes. And this entire idea, there's a fallacy underneath it, in that it is rooted in scarcity. They want you to think that you have to go to the bank and dump your fucking water into the river. They want you to think that that's the safest bet. It's safest in there. And that's because there is some truth to the fact that water that is moving, it's safer to drink. It's safer from things like drought. Moving water, typically water that flows, is safer than water that stays stagnant. This is why, like, investing your money just in a bank, any investor will tell you it's fucking useless just sitting in the bank. You have to take that money and use it to make more money, right? But here's the secret, and this is the punchline, dude. This is what most people don't understand. We live on a water world, dude. 72% of this planet is water. 72% of your body is water. It lives in abundance. And all you need to learn to do is access that abundance. You don't need the bank. You don't need that relationship. You need to find out how to tap into the abundance that exists here. And once you can tap into that abundance, it changes the game, dude. Nothing will ever be the same once you realize that there is money everywhere. It wants to come to me, and all I have to do is learn to access it. And once you do that, dude, you're no longer working for buckets of water. Now you're understanding that you can access oceans and rivers of water where you didn't even realize that it existed before. It's right under your feet, dude. It's all around you. But the more you tell yourself a story about, well, I got to go to the bank and I got to deposit it in the bank, and the more you do that, the more it gets fucked up. And then you also have some of these laws, like I was just saying, this concept of like atrophy or of stagnating, right? What's the number one way we fuck up ecological systems or economic systems? We block it off, right? We dam the river, we let it fill up, we create these massive fucking reservoirs, and then they dry out. They kill off the species that help them survive and maintain that equilibrium. They kill off all the fish, they kill off all the algae and stuff, or they make algae bloom in ways that they weren't supposed to, that is unbalanced and out of equilibrium. So two things: you need to make sure that your money is flowing, it can't stop, right? And also, picture a reservoir, right? that has to go through, right? It has to continue. So not only do you have to open it up for reception, you have to be able to receive money, that money has to have somewhere to go as well. You cannot hold on to it. You cannot save yourself into prosperity. And if you can understand these things, bro, it'll change your fucking life. It will absolutely change your life. I've done a lot of plant medicine work, and in this I've explored my family's relationship with money. My father was one of the early employees at Amazon and was offered an insane amount of Amazon stock to stay, and my dad left because he chose his peace over working with Jeff Bezos and suffering, because at the time he was suffering. My grandfather owned an oil field that he essentially went bankrupt trying to find oil on. They sold it. The guy who they sold it to hit $1 trillion worth of oil. This is a common theme in my family, and I think it goes back actually to a story of my great-great-grandfather, whose name was Peter the Gold. Peter the Gold was a legend in Iona, Scotland, where my family is from. And how the legend goes, he was out fishing one day, and a pirate ship came, and they needed help navigating the coast around Scotland, and so they kidnapped him. And they made him help them navigate the waters. They went back to Spain, and as a reward, a token for their gratitude, they gave him a bag of gold. And he comes back to Scotland, and he pays off my family's, what's the equivalent of sharecropping, right? Indentured servitude and rental properties that's owned by the crown. And he pays those off, and he moves his family to Canada. And in Canada, my family was able to build an incredible life where they were extremely wealthy until my great-grandfather, who owned emerald mines and was obsessed with mining, got black lung and died. He died in the pursuit of money, and I've had these deep medicine experiences where I've sat and talked with him, and he's told me, don't die for money. Money is abundant. It's all around us. If only he had known that he could access this abundance, that he didn't need to kill himself to access the abundance. He didn't need to trade his life for access to the water that was all around him. You see, water is the perfect metaphor for everything. It's consciousness, it's life, it's God. One of my favorite ways to explain God to people is, it's so interesting how we try to quantify God. You'll take a cup, you'll go to a river, you'll fill it up, and you'll go, look, this is river. Well, that's what people are doing with God. They go over to church or whatever, they go, this is God, and it's like, no, that's a cup of water. It became something different when you put it in this building and wrote the book about it, because again, this is paradoxical in nature, describing what this experience is. It's a fugazi. Like, you can't do it. You're not going to do it justice. Words are so limited. And so this idea of describing God through such a limited perspective and experience, like, it's not possible, right? Water is, I think, the most important element when it comes to describing the currency, the flow of life. And accessing wealth and resources in abundance is understanding that resource and being able to tap into it on an energetic level. What is currency? It's energy, dude. It's the exchange of energy. And the biggest lie they've told you is that in order for you to access this energy, you have to be a slave and you have to be a professional sufferer. Don't get me wrong, suffering leads to grace. I love suffering. I'm not here to tell you not to suffer. What I am here to tell you is that you have access to abundance all around you, and it's all mindset. The second you decide to change your mind, you're going to have access to the wealth that you deserve, the abundance you deserve, the abundance your family deserves, and the ways to open things up and let them flow. Every story you tell yourself about what you're deserving of, what you're not deserving of, what you have access to, what you don't have access to, those are the stories that create your prison cell. Those are the stories that are limiting you from accessing the abundance of the world. People ask me all the time, how do you afford 6 kids? And the truth is, I just do. Like, it's not as simple as, like, we live in this over-intellectualized world where we go, oh, well, there's a dollar sign for each kid. And if you don't have that dollar sign, you can't afford the kids. And that's total and utter bullshit. What is the greatest act of abundance in the eyes of God? If you're someone who believes in God, you should 100% have children. What is the greatest act of abundance in the eyes of God? It is creating more life. We are made in the image of God, whether that's energetic, literal, God is a dude in the sky. I don't know. I'm not certain, but I can tell you this, is that if God created us, and he created us to be abundant, and we create more people, then we are literally trusting the abundance of God so much that we'll always be provided for, we'll always be taken care of, we'll always live thrive, succeed, all of that, even in our failures and whatnot. You know, that's another aspect of perspective I think most people are having a hard time with nowadays, is like, bro, suffering is grace. I just said that a moment ago. When you fail, you're actually succeeding, right? When someone says no to you, you're one step closer to a yes. When someone does something to you that you think is unfavorable, it's all a part of the lesson so that you can build your character to the point to where you are unstoppable, dude. Whatever that means, man. Like, so many people, they have this story about, well, I can never be that. I can never be abundant, wealthy, successful. I can never be that because I'm this. As soon as you divorce this, you open the door for being whatever you want to be. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to be easy, and I'm also not going to sit here and tell you it's got to be fucking hard. It's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to you and how you perceive reality and experience life. So I think you should fucking go for it, dude. Access the abundance. Tap into this shit. Stop fucking giving up. Stop shooting yourself in the foot before you even get out the fucking door. Everything you want is on the other side of connecting with that abundance, of getting rid of the scarcity mindset and connecting with other people and learning to communicate with other people. I tell my children all the time, you don't get what you don't ask for. You don't eat if you don't ask. So go ask. If you want to sell a product, go ask. Sell the fucking product. If you want to build something, ask. And also, like, don't ask for permission. This is ask for the sale, but don't ask for permission to pursue the thing. Having customers is not the fucking... that's not what me building something is contingent upon. I used to make music and people would be like, yeah, but I think the audience would like this. I don't give a fuck about the audience. I'm making music. I'm creating something. You can take it or leave it. If you leave it, that's fine. You're leaving it there for someone who actually wants access to that data, that information, that subset of energetic transaction, whatever. So I got kind of a busy day, man. Things have been wild. I recently started this project called Ethno-Botanical Origins, where we'll be traveling the world, creating documentaries about plant medicines. And I'm going to make a lot more content about this. This is episode 1 of the Fatherhood Show. And if you don't know, my name is Fatherhood the Rapper. I do make hip-hop music. You're welcome to look at my catalog. Just look up on any streaming platform, Fatherhood the Rapper. There's some great stuff on there. That is not my means of financial success yet, but it's certainly a great outlet, and I really enjoy it. And then, you know, we got this documentary film project. I sold the home service business last April, and now I'm really in this process of like trying to create something new. I've been creating space for something new to come in, and now I'm finally at the point where that something new can come in, dude. You know? That something new is just on the horizon. So yeah, that's kind of what it's about, you know. I gotta get some what are they called? Sand in this. Yeah, life's a garden, bro. Life's a garden, but only if you choose to participate in the garden, right? That's the other thing, man. Don't send mixed signals to the garden, right? Don't plant something, dig it up. Plant something, dig it up. Stop playing this fucking game. You know who you are. I'm not a yogi. Don't judge my fucking stretching. I'm just trying to get my body moving for the day. And, yeah, dude. Whoosh. 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 Oh. There we go. Okay. Time to go kick ass, take names. Love you guys. Thanks for coming to my party. Bye.